I work for a defense contractor, which is how I met my wife Carol. We had worked together for a couple of years before dating, and after dating for only 6 months she proposed to me and we just celebrated our second wedding anniversary. Carol is a US Navy LCDR, her role is mostly land-based with some special sea duty deployments, short-term. I am friends with several of the officers and families in her department and we are very social like an extended family. Most of her department is on a 3-month deployment with a carrier group, the longest time we have spent apart since we started dating. They have been gone over a month and 3 of the wives of her officers and I have been running every morning and we sometimes go out for drinks and keep each other company. Most are far from any family or long-time friends. Last weekend we were at a local bar and Mary, 25F, who is married to one of my wife's JR officers Tom, got really drunk, and at the end of the night, I took away her keys as she was determined to drive home. I end up taking her home, they live in on-base housing, and I walked/carried her to her door. I got her door open and she tried to get me to come in, she grabbed me and started kissing me, and asked me to stay. I got out of there as quickly as I could. The next morning she called and apologized for the night before and asked if I could take her back to the bar to retrieve her car. I picked her up and on the way to the bar she said she was just feeling lonely but that she was attracted to me and said we could help each other while our spouses were away. I told her I was flattered but I could never cheat on my wife. Mary said it wasn't exactly cheating but I shut the conversation down. Carol and I had a FaceTime chat where I told her about the event and asked if I needed to reach out to Tom and tell him or if that was something my wife would rather do. She gave a big sigh and looked sad but said we should just leave it be for now. She said sadly that this was not unusual and happens on both sides. She has unofficially reprimanded one of her officers for engaging with a non-com since being on board. She doesn't want to tell Tom because it would distract him from his duties and cause stress since there is nothing he can really do about it right now. Secondly, it could start a conversation that might force her to take action as his commanding officer if he is in an open relationship or simply knows she is cheating. Her group must maintain a high security clearance, and this could jeopardize his clearance. Then she said something that I can't stop worrying about. As long as Mary is discreet and it doesn't affect their relationship when Tom returns then she sees it as no harm no foul. She went on to say if she were Tom she would rather not know as long as we were happy. I don't know if this was her giving me permission to cheat without coming out and saying it. Or worse, is she saying that she could justify cheating on me so long as it didn't directly affect me? It bothers me that we can't talk in person for another 8 weeks until she gets back. I woke up this morning to an email from my wife and now I'm late for work but I just don't care. The email started off with how I should deal with Mary. She asked me not to say anything to anyone about what happened and I should continue to be cordial with Mary. Also better if I avoided times when we were both alone together. She is reaching out to one of the wives to watch over Mary, a combination of counseling and cock-blocking. The video, first thing I noticed in the video was her hair was down and her makeup, plus she was out of uniform and wearing one of my shirts that she took with her. She said she had mixed feelings about our last conversation and how she left things then after my email realized she might have foobarred everything. The video was 20 minutes long with at least 2 noticeable pauses after she started tearing up. I saw a very mushy and vulnerable side of my wife I had never seen before and it killed me I couldn't hug her afterwards. Whatever doubts or fears I had were squashed this morning. I just finished watching the video for the 4th time and I can't get to the end without almost breaking down. She wants me to plan a week away after she gets back. The FaceTime call was when I told her about Mary hitting on me and she told me the things that kind of triggered me. The video was almost 2 days later after she realized some of what she told me was confusing and I emailed her that I was struggling with what she said. She is on board a carrier group at the moment, with almost no makeup and her hair high and tight most of the time. She took the time to fix her hair and put on extra makeup to look nice for me, plus she had taken a couple of my shirts with her and had put one on instead of her khakis. The extra effort was not lost on me. The part about her not wanting to know and no harm no foul came at the end of her phone time and we didn't get to talk it out. Just like me, she felt like the way she left it was troubling and it had already been bothering her even before she got my email. She took 2 shirts that I like to wear around the house and a small bottle of my cologne with her. She says it makes her feel better and helps her fall asleep faster. 2 weeks later. Happy part of this update, my wife's group is getting Liberty later this month and my company is arranging for me to be on site for some tech support a few days before they make port, which will give us 48 hours together before they leave port again. My new dilemma is that the officer's wife, Mary, who made a pass at me, has reached out to me again. This time to apologize and explain. My wife had reached out to another older wife to counsel Mary about the repercussions of inappropriate behavior and riding herd on her for a while. Mary apologized to me for putting me in a bad position and also expressed her disappointment that I had told my wife about what had happened. Then she proceeded to explain she wasn't cheating on her husband because they had an open marriage and were free to see others when the Navy separated them. Since I was so friendly with the other wives, she assumed that I had a similar arrangement with my wife. I accepted her apology and said I was flattered, but I wasn't interested. The dilemma is, do I pass this information on to my wife? On one hand, I know this is information she would rather not know, especially while they are deployed, but she might need to know if she plans on telling him at some point about his wife's indiscretions. It could be an awkward conversation where he either doesn't act surprised or upset to one where he might come clean about their relationship. In almost any case, my wife will be put in a situation where she might feel compelled to take action she would rather not take.